Hey folks, Eder from Brain Pulp TV. It is December 8th, 2017, the release date of Unstable from Magic the Gathering. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are going to be drafting this set today or over the weekend or in the weeks ahead, but I figured I'd do give you a small taste as to what you can find inside one of these packs of Unstable. I'm also not entirely sure whether we're going to be doing some Unstable content here in the channel. Maybe, maybe not. We're going to have to discuss it with Travis and see what he thinks about it. But yeah, let's crack open this pack without any further ado and see what's inside. And I'm going to go through every single card just because it's just a single cracked pack. So let's look at each of the cards that are inside here. First up, we have Wild Crocodile for 1/1 green. Gets you a 1/1. It is one of the host creatures. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Now, this obviously changes when you can put the other half of another augment creature onto this. So this is one of the new mechanics, which I'm really excited for with this particular set. Next card we have is Success. For 1 white, it's an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. If it's a host or has augment, it gains lifelink until the end of turn. So the artwork in this set is amazing. I mean, I think when artists get to be let off their tethers when it comes to how wacky they can get with their artwork, it's amazing just how far and funny some of these artists are able to take their work for this particular set. So next up we have Merman. It is 4/1 blue. It's a 3/3 host creature, human fish. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. Finders Keepers, some decent removal. It's 5/1 black for a sorcery. Destroy a target creature, then assemble a contraption. Put the top card of your contraption deck face up on one of your sprockets. Now, contraptions are another mechanic in this particular set. It's actually a sub deck within when you're playing, other than your regular sort of library. So it's an interesting concept. I'm curious if they ever bring something like that into regular Magic as opposed to just one of the unsets, but I'm still looking forward to playing around with a bit in the unset. Then we have Just Desserts for 1 and a red. It's an instant. Just Desserts deals pi damage to target creature. Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. It's a smidgen more than 3. Now, I know a lot of people out there have pi memorized to the 10th or 12th decimal point. I do not. I have no idea what pi is past. I think it's 3.14. So any numbers beyond that, no idea. Big Boa Constructor for 3 and a black. You get another host creature. Got a lot of host creatures. This would be a fun pack to have drafted. It's a 1/2, and when this creature enters the battlefield, roll a 6-sided die. Target opponent loses life equal to the result. There's a lot of 6-sided die rolling in these cards as well too. It's another sort of. It's not exactly. I guess it could be considered a mechanic, but there's cards that sort of play off of if you ever have to roll a die, and there's other cards which you need to roll a die for. So I do like that sort of randomness in a set like this, and even in regular Magic, I enjoyed cards that you're supposed to flip coins for as well too. We have Hammer Helper for 3 and a red. You get a sorcery, gain control of target creature until the end of turn, untap that creature, and roll a 6-sided die. Until the end of turn, it gains haste and gets +X/+0, where X is the result. Gnome Made Engine for 4 mana. You get a artifact host creature construct. Actually, yeah, it is an artifact. It says so right there as opposed to up there. When this creature enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature. And if I didn't mention it, this is a 2/2 on its own. Our first uncommon is Entirely Normal Armchair. It's an artifact. The artwork is amazing. During your turn, if Entirely Normal Armchair is in your hand, you may hide it on the battlefield. Pay 0. Return Entirely Normal Armchair to its owner's hand. Only any opponent may activate this ability, and only if he or she sees Entirely Normal Armchair. Pay 2, sacrifice Entirely Normal Armchair, destroy target attacking creature. These are things which I really like about the unsets. These fun things that you just can't do in normal Magic. I'm hoping if I do end up drafting this, that I get to draft this card, because I really want to be able to try to sneak one of these out onto the battlefield without my opponent noticing. So I'm almost sad that I'm opening this in the crack pack and not in a draft pack. Next up we have Ninja, which is one of the augment cards. Now, this is unique in the sense that it can only work with one of the host creatures. As you can see here, it'd be like a ninja man. So instead of it having like a converted mana cost, it has an augment cost. So for 2 and a black, reveal this card from your hand, combine it with target host, augment only as, oh, never mind. You may activate Ninja's augment ability anytime you can cast an instant whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, and then it goes with whoever the host creature is. So it'd be like whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So it's very powerful. It's a very powerful mechanic, and I'm really looking forward to testing this out in some draft play. Our third uncommon is Cogmentor. For 1, you get an artifact creature. It is a gnome rigger. Flying, 1/1. For 4, reassemble target contraption you control. Move it to another one of your sprockets. Third and final uncommon from the main pack. So it gets to our rare, and our rare is Split Screen. For 4, you get an artifact. When Split Screen enters the battlefield, shuffle your library and deal it into 4 libraries. If anything refers to your library, choose one of your libraries for it. Play with your library's top cards revealed. When Split Screen leaves the battlefield, shuffle your libraries together. So I have no idea how well that would work out in a game. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting. It's basically giving you a preview of the top card of any of these libraries. So you're really getting to pick one of 4 whenever you get to like draw or something like that. So it seems like it could be a powerful card. Once again, all these cards have like such fun little bends to them, and I'm kind of sad that I'm not actually going to get to play this particular one. Maybe I will get to play it in a draft. Who knows? Maybe I'll pull this in a draft. So moving on, we have a beautiful, beautiful full art island. One of the big draws of the unsets are their full art lands, and I think they've really done a good job. Even though it looks nothing like any of the other lands from Magic, neither did the other unset lands as well too. But I really, really like the island. I'm super glad because I'm a big blue player. So I'm glad that I was able to pull this as my full art land. Then we have a mythic contraption. Damn, I wish I had opened this up in a draft. Hard Hat Area. It's an artifact contraption. Whenever you crank Hard Hat Area, roll 2 6-sided dice. Hard Hat Area assembles a number of contraptions equal to the difference between those results. To assemble a contraption, put the top card of your contraption deck face up onto one of your sprockets. Now, I'm going to go into the next one. This is the next contraption, but I'm going to show you the back of this card in just a second. Sapsucker. It is an artifact contraption, just a common one. Whenever you crank Sapsucker, add 1 green to your mana pool. Until the end of turn, this mana doesn't empty from your mana pool as steps and phases end. So if you look at the back of this, and as well too, we got a foil angel token. Very, very nice with full art on the back of it. These are another thing that I'm super excited about because I'm a token collector, so these are going to be a fun thing for me to try to get into my collection. So I'm going to set that aside, though, and show you the back of the contraption card, because if you haven't seen it, this is where the sprockets are, and this is what your contraption deck is going to look like before the cards are turned face up, and it's going to be sort of set just like this, somewhere on the battlefield, separate from your regular library. And as you can see here, you have sprocket 1, 2, and 3. You start the game with a crank counter, whatever you want to use for the crank counter, on sprocket 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a contraption, move the crank counter to the next sprocket and crank any number of that sprocket's contraptions. So for example, it's going to start here. So at the beginning of your first upkeep, after you now control a contraption, you're going to move it to sprocket 1. So if your contraption is below sprocket 1, then it's going to activate that particular contraption. If it's below number 2 or number 3, you have to wait till the counter moves over to 2 and 3. Now, if you have 2 underneath sprocket 1 or 2 underneath sprocket 2 or 2 underneath sprocket 3, it will activate both of them underneath that particular sprocket as long as the contraption counter is on that particular sprocket. So hopefully that made sense. There are videos out there where some people have been lucky enough to sort of test play this, or even some where they go over the rules a bit more thoroughly. So if you're a bit confused, you should be able to find a more concise explanation for how the sprockets and crank counters and contraptions work, but hopefully that sort of helped a few of you out there. So that was my crack pack for a pack of Unstable. As you can see, I got the rare card. I got technically a mythic as well too, in the form of a contraption, full art island, the foil angel token. So pretty happy with how this pack worked out. The only thing I'm unhappy with is the fact that I didn't actually draft this pack, because there are a lot of cards in here that I would have definitely wanted to try to build decks around or add to my decks. But still, I'm happy to have these cards now in my collection. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the crack pack as well. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, subscribing, doing everything you guys do to help support the channel. It means a lot to me. May all your contraptions stay forever cranked, and I'll see you all again very soon.